Here we are with the week 24 probability number line concept. This is the first of two concepts in week 24. And remember, if you're looking at these questions and you're still unsure, go back and look at some of the previous tests. Concept 24 showed up on the week 24 test, also the week 25 and the week 26 tests. So you have several opportunities here to go back and look over this work and then jump into these problems. Okay, here we go. So we've got a couple different things going on here. We have two different problems in this set, each with their own information. So let's jump to the first one. It says the spinner shown to right, I'm going to give myself a little room to write there on my number line. The spinner shown to the right has 8 equally sized sections labeled green, pink, or black. Identify the probability of each outcome and place it on the number line. So let's start with the green. If you look around that spinner, there is only one place where green appears. Green appears right here, which means the chance of getting green, the probability of getting green, there's one green out of 8 spots on the spinner. So 1 out of 8. The pink, and I don't have a pink, so I'm going to use red. The probability of getting the pink, well, pink shows up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It shows up 4 times out of 8. I'm going to simplify that one to 1/2. Finally, the black, the probability of getting black. Well, black shows up once, twice, 3 times on our spinner. So there is a 3 out of 8 chance of getting black. Now, one thing I can do before I move on to double check my work, I've got 3 out of 8 plus 4 is 7 plus 1 more, 8 out of 8. What I just did there, let me just write it right over here. I took the green, I added the pink, I added the black. That turned out to be 8 out of 8, which is 1 whole, which I know it has to be because the only things on the spinner are green, pink, and black. So when I put them all together, I have to get 1 whole. If I had something other than 1 whole, if I had more or less than 1 whole, I need to go back before I continue to see where I picked up the wrong number. All right, so then the second part is to put these on the number line. So since I'm dealing in eighths, I'm going to go ahead and label my number line in eighths. There's going to be 4 eighths right there, halfway across. This 1 is 8 eighths. This 0 is no eighths. Halfway between the 0 and the 4 are 2 eighths. Halfway between the 4 and the 8 are 6 eighths. Notice I didn't simplify any of these because I want to see them in eighths. I didn't change this 2 eighths into 1/4 or this 6 eighths into 3/4. I want to see them in eighths. So my green at 1/8 is right there. It is 1/8. I'll do it this way. It is 1/8. So it falls directly between the no eighths and the 2 eighths. My black, let me jump over red for just a minute. My black is right here. It is 3 eighths. And then finally my pink is right there. It was 4 eighths. So there are my spots on the number line. Pink falls right on the 4 eighths. The black and the green fall between my regular intervals. All right, let's jump down to the second one. So the spinner shown to the right, again, has 8 equal sides. What's an event that is likely to happen? Now, the thing about a problem like this is there's more than one correct answer. So here's something likely to happen. It's likely that I will get something greater than 1, because that gives me the probability, actually, of getting something greater than 1 is 7 out of 8. It's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 out of 8. Those are all likely events. Another likely event Another nice likely event is I'll get something less than 7. There are 6 out of 8 that are less than 7, so that's a likely event. How about unlikely events? Well, it's unlikely that I'll get the 1. That is 1 out of 8. If the thing's greater than 1 or 7 out of 8, then the 1 itself is 1 out of 8. Using that same idea, going back over here, it's unlikely that I will get a number greater than or equal to 7. Because the greater than or equal to 7s are just the 7 and the 8. That's only 2 out of 8. How about something that's neither likely nor unlikely? Well, those are the things that run in the middle. So the probability of getting an odd is 4 out of 8. That's right in the middle of the pack. Same thing for the probability of getting an even. 4 out of 8. Let's do one more. The probability of getting something greater than 4. Well, that's the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. That's, again, 4 out of 8. Those are all neither likely nor unlikelies. All right, so check your work on these two before we move on to the bottom. Let me get that to where you can see everything. There you go for part 1. Check your work to part 1, and then we're going to move to the bottom section. So the spinner at right has 5 equally sized spaces. They're either blue, red, or white. For the red, well, the probability of getting a red, there's a red right there. In fact, that's the only red. So the probability of getting a red is 1 in 5. I don't have white, so I'll use orange. The probability of getting white, I do have white actually, but if I used it, you wouldn't be able to see it. Probability of getting white right there, also 1 in 5. Probability of getting blue, there, and there. Probability of blue, 3 in 5. So as we did last time, let's just make sure 1 in 5 plus 1 in 5 plus 3 in 5 is 5 in 5, which is a whole. So we know we're on the right track because, again, when we add them all together, they have to total one whole. Now we're ready to place them on the number line. Now, this is a little more complicated than last time. Last time I was dealing in eighths, and it worked out really well. Now I'm dealing in fifths. Fifths don't work out as cleanly on a number line that's been divided into 4 spots. So what I'm going to do this time, instead of putting things in fractions on my number line, I'm going to put things in percents. So there's 100%, 50%, 75%, 25%, and 0%. 0%, the answer, what's the probability of spinning green would be 0% because there is no green. 100, what's the probability of spinning either white, blue, or red? Well, since those are the 3 colors, that would be 100%. So if I'm going to work in percentages, then I need to convert my fractions to percentages. 1/5 as a percent is 20%. I can do that either by dividing the 1 by the 5. I could do it by saying, well, 5 goes into 120 times. However I do it, 20%, which means the red is right there, and so is the white, because it was also 1/5. So the red and the white, 20%. The 3/5 is 60%. Now, there are a couple ways of doing that. You could say, well, 1/5 was 20%, so 3 of those will be 60%. There are several different ways you could solve that. Divide 3 by 5. 60% is going to be here between 50 and 75, closer to 50, and that is my blue. It's at 60%. My red and my white were both at 20%. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I think you are ready now. If you understand this concept, you're ready to take the 24-1 test. Good luck with that. Come see me and we'll schedule that. Remember, we've got a little time left during this week and the first day or so of next week.